Yeah, they're pitching it right now as like we're gonna cure paralysis and people who've gotten into like terrible car accidents and maybe like CTE for the football players. Like this is all like, and who could be against that, right? Who could be against trying to help a paraplegic person walk again? I mean, that's an ambitious goal, and if they succeed and it stops there, I applaud them. But that's not where it's going to stop. It's more like for this model to have increased brain function, brain capacity here. And ultimately, the end goal, I mean, I'll just, spoiler alert, is they want to live forever. I mean, the one thing that maybe unites everybody is that we're all going to die. And a lot of people are afraid of that. If you don't have a belief system that helps you like through that, then if you think you're just going to become worm food, as a lot of these sort of godless technocrats in Silicon Valley think, then yeah, you're pretty afraid of death. And so they want to live forever. Elon Musk talks about uploading his brain to the cloud and, using a Neuralink type situation to maybe download it into an avatar. Again, this sounds like sci-fi, but the FDA just cleared it for human trials. You've got people signing up, and they're not just like walking into, Aldous Huxley talked about the painless concentration camp in Brave New World, where it's like where everybody's sort of just placated with drugs and you don't know that you're in a concentration camp because it's painless, but you're sort of just there and you're numb. That's what people are running into. They're running into the painless concentration camp. And with Neuralink, I mean, you may think like, oh, well, easy, I just won't get one. And of course, and this is happening in our lifetime, as you just mentioned. There's like someone about to have it, and maybe she'll end up chewing off her fingers and toes and have to be euthanized. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, the monkeys, I mean, they don't seem to be responding well to the Neuralink, which is like what makes the FDA approval for human trials so baffling, is like, did you not read about how all of these animals are getting like euthanized because they're in excruciating pain and vomiting relentlessly after getting electrodes implanted in their brain? But anyway, full speed ahead. And with the Neuralink, here's how it will, I mean, this is kind of an analogy I use. Like, imagine you're playing trivia, you're at the bar, you're playing trivia, and your team is given the ability to use your cell phones to answer the trivia questions. Think about what an advantage you would have. Everybody else has to use their brains, but your team gets to use your cell phones to answer. You'd answer every question perfectly. You'd win every time. And so that's what life will be like. I mean, if these Neuralink trials are successful, if you are able to do, as Elon Musk says, tap into the cloud without psychically, because you've got, the Neuralink, and you're able to just answer any question on the spot because you got Wikipedia pumped into your head, your advantage will be massive. And so, if you don't have a Neuralink, you'll eventually get to the spot where everybody's got the upgrade and you're holding out, but you're not going to be employable. You'll be useless because you'll need the chip. So this sounds sort of crazy. Hopefully that's not what happens, but that's what they're working towards. And so whether or not it's like, that's the reality. I mean, that's what these guys are working towards. And you can see people are rushing into it. And so it's a big problem. There's over 10,000 people. I mean, BlackRock Neurotech, no relation to BlackRock, the financial institution that I was able to find, but a different company, BlackRock Neurotech, claims they've already implanted over 10,000 people with microchips in their brains. And so, it may start out as just sort of like a Fitbit. You're not going to be able to like recall everything, the entirety of human history and like quote Wikipedia, but it may just be like, clocking your brain activity, and you can go check it on your app and like, oh man, I had a lot of brain productivity today. My neurons were firing on all cylinders today. And eventually, you'll be able to get more and more data. And all of this is being sent obviously to the data harvesters. And back, Yuval Noah Harari, he says that those who control the data control the future. And so this can't be going anywhere good. I mean, that's the thing is, we've sort of peaked, in my opinion, as a civilization, when you can order a pizza and have it at your door in, a matter of minutes, or you can have any product that you could possibly want in 2 days or less without having to get up. Like, why do we need to go even further and like merge man with machine? I think it's playing with fire. It's trying to play God. These guys have God complexes on steroids, and it's not going anywhere good. And it's still full speed ahead. So that's kind of like what this book is about, is we're not necessarily there yet, but it's a lot closer than you may think it is.
Mhm.
And unless we wake up, it's going to be not really optional. It's kind of like same thing with the headsets. It's like, yeah, you don't want to use a headset. Guess what? I didn't want to download Zoom on my computer. I didn't want to have to telecommute. And then all of a sudden I had to. And now, like, people say, oh, only Zoom, like, oh, we're having a work meeting today. If you want your job, you may have to use Zoom. And so, like, resisting putting on the headset. And that's why I think Apple Vision Pro is going to be, and it's really these augmented reality headsets. I mean, the full-blown virtual reality headsets are a fail because you can't see what's going on around you. So that's kind of like disorienting and it's not going to work. But if you're just wearing a pair of glasses and it's kind of merging your reality and augmenting your reality, and it's not a full-blown virtual reality, that will be sort of the gateway drug to the full-blown Soma, like Brave New Worlds and the painless concentration camp.
Right. You can see it playing out. It also pairs really nicely with the smart city plan, and you're going to be competing with people who did do this. It's a lot like the jab, really. It's like your boss is going to say, hey, for the company's sake and for our liability and everything, you're going to have to do this. For our productivity, it's going to go from liability to productivity. And it's going to be about monitoring your brain waves and your levels of concentration. Well, I see here on the report, Jim, that you were only concentrating on your tasks 18% of the day today. And it seems like you had a distraction quotient of 13. Meanwhile, your colleagues down the hall, they have much better reports, Jim. And that is kind of what is going to happen. It is insane. And on the
exactly.
subject, yeah. And on the subject, go ahead.
Well, and just on that, because we didn't really get too much into the energy, but like, I mean, so no, exactly. I mean, you'll be offered at work, like, do you want to double your salary because we're going to help double your productivity? And that, like, the fine print on that is not like double your productivity by monitoring you 24/7. They just like say this thing works. It's been given FDA approval. We've already got thousands of people who are using it very effectively. Would you like to double your salary or not? And it's like, yes or no. I mean, that'll be a very hard question to take. It's like, I mean, when people were facing losing their job, they didn't want to get the vaccine. But when it comes down to putting food on the table for my family or not, then you'll be surprised what you're willing to comply with, and so you'll do it. You'll take the double salary, you'll take the chip, and then you'll be locked into that system. And just to give you an example of how this is already happening, this type of thing is the smart thermostats. I mean, imagine waking up in the middle of the night. It's winter time now, but imagine it's actually happened in the middle of the summer, in the middle of a heat wave. You wake up in the middle of the night and you're drenched in sweat. You go to your thermostat and you try to turn it down, but you can't. You've been locked out. You have no control over the temperature of your home because you've got this smart thermostat. And you're like, that sounds crazy. That didn't happen. It did happen. Ask the residents of Denver, Colorado, residents in Texas and in California have all experienced not being able to change their temperature because there's too much strain on the grid, probably because the electric vehicles are all being plugged in the middle of the night. And now the grid can't handle that sort of that load. But like, how did somebody, like, you wonder, like, well, how the heck did that happen? Like, didn't they have to like approve that? They did. They clicked I agree on the checkbox. They didn't read the terms of service closely enough. And here's how the people with the smart meters ended up locked out of their thermostat is you join the smart thermostat program, like, and the utility company pitches it to you like this. Do you want to save $30 on your utility bill every month? And you're thinking, yeah, wow, my utilities have been jacked up these last couple of years. I'd love to save $30 a month. That's like $360 a year. Sign me up. And what you don't realize, and they say, oh, it's for your convenience. Think about it. You're coming home from work and you want to turn on the AC before you get home or turn on the heat before you get home. You can just do it from our smart meter app. And so you're like, oh, wow, this sounds brilliant. This sounds convenient. And I'm saving money. What's the catch? The catch is you lost control over the temperature of your home. And so that's how all of these things are sort of sold to you. It's like, this is, wow, wildly convenient. I can even save a bit of money or make some more money doing it. I'll sign up. This sounds great. And so that, this is the same thing with the chips. It'll be like a convenience / way for you to get richer or save money on something. And the number of people who are signing up already is kind of staggering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is only going to get worse. I mean, we can't control what other people do. People do a lot of dumb things, and sometimes you understand why the elite hate the average person so much. George Carlin had a line, think about how dumb the average guy is, and then realize that half of all people are dumber than that guy. Can you believe it, people? A video clip and a peek into how that sweet THC sausage is made. For some people, I'm sure it's nice to put a face to the name, so I started making clips that are a little more YouTube friendly than the full show tends to be. Get the full show on any podcasting platform. I prefer to keep it audio only, so we have a more decentralized distribution for a controversial show, and also so I can edit out the ums and ahs and barking dogs and all the things that happen when a person records in their home environment. And then if you really like the show, you can sign up for THC Plus, and instead of 1 hour interviews, you get the full 2-hour interview for just $8. I think that's a better deal, more of a win-win than asking you to support the show by booking a therapy session or buying generic Viagra. It's getting weird out there, folks. So just go to the highersidechats.com or click the link at the top of any set of show notes, and all your wildest dreams will come true. All right? All right.
The Higherside Chat Show.